Dustin Hoffman followed the love of his life in an Alfa Romeo straight across California in The Graduate. And Roger Moore as James Bond outpaced all the bad guys in the same brand car. The Italian car maker re-released one of its top products in 2007, the 8C Competizione, in a reinterpretation of the famous 8C car from the 1930s. Thomas Supati collects Alfas and says that this car is a real beauty with great acceleration. It's a classic sports car, and it looks great, he says. Alfa Romeo has been building fast cars for 100 years now. They're still as popular now as they have ever been. Thomas says the car is like a dream for him. It makes him happy, even when it's just sitting there doing nothing. The Alfa enthusiast rarely lets himself get overtaken in his Competizione, aside from when it's a 1939 8C coming up behind him. He says there are parallels between his modern car and the original version. The sporting spirit is the common element, says Supati. Cuore sportivo is what the Italians say. Alfa's sporty touch can be seen immediately in this classic car, and he thinks it will be pretty quick. There's 200 horsepower underneath the hood of the 8C. The car is still considered the absolute epitome of Alfa Romeo by classic car buffs. It's the combination of sound and looks that does it, says antique car restorer Tom Fisher. In the 1930s, top engineers like Vittorio Jano and so on gave this generation of Alfa Romeo a really good name. Since then, the company has been trying to restore this reputation, according to Fisher. In the early 1930s, Alfa designer Vittorio Jano sent the 8C out onto the racetrack. It promptly won all the major events of its era. An anniversary run in Balocco, Italy a few months ago, the 8C was again the center of attention, whether as a sports car or as a sedan. Today, these babies can be worth up to 25 million euros.
This icon remains today one of the best car preferred by collectors and one the most representative car for Alfa Romeo history.
And the 24 HP likewise got to show off in Balocco. This was the first car to emerge from the Alfa factory in Milan in 1910. The Giulietta came after the introduction of mass production following the Second World War. It marked a real breakthrough, a model that is a must-have item for Thomas Supati. For him, it was always the Alfa model. It was the first debut design by Giugiaro. He was head designer at Bertone, and he drew his first design on a napkin at the dinner table. Look at the result. Giorgio Giugiaro had a permanent influence on Alfa. He created both the Giulia Sprint, the GTV, and the Alfa Sud. Sadly, the latter came to symbolize the vehicle's susceptibility to repair. Alfas had to be treated right, insists Thomas Supati. They like to be warmed up and cooled down. Then they're the most dependable cars you could imagine. In 1986, Alfa Romeo was taken over by Fiat, and it took a while for the brand to recover its sporty image. The brand new Giulietta has a distinct emotional appeal to Alfa fans. Thomas Supati approves of the result, but he's not surprised. He admits Alfa have been on the reserve side over the past 20 years. But now that's changed. Vintage expert Tom Fisher says Alfa is on the right track, standing by its name and expanding on what the brand stands for. 100 years of Alfa Romeo. It's been a dynamic story so far, and this is a brand that still has its fans enthralled.